Here's D'Amico on the defense and the reason that they had a shutout, no big plays yesterday.
What I've been trying to tell them? No, it's just guys just being in the right spot, right? No grenades. I call no grenades going off in the back. Nobody's running free. Everybody was disciplined. They were where they're supposed to be. Yeah, they're going to make some plays. Good team. And Cam, he got out, threw the ball back across the field like we knew he could do. He made a nice play, but guys, they stayed with it. We kept pressing. Our D-line did a great job. We did a really good job in the run game, right? And then our D-line really caused havoc in the passing game. The guys covered really well today.
Yeah, they did it. They did a nice job. How about Stingley? He loves to be on the field so much. He played despite the oblique, and and got a pick too on top of it. A ball that was poorly thrown. Another poorly thrown. Cam Ward has a lot to do. Cam Ward's going to be fine. I think he's going to be okay. He doesn't have playmakers. He doesn't have an offensive line. They don't have much of a running game.
They're bad.
They're bad.
I mean,
they're really
Titans
bad.
Are bad, man. There's a lot of work to do over there.
Yep.
I don't know if Cam's going to be good. I know that he has no chance right now.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Did you hear his soundbite?
Who, Cam's?
Yeah. It was interesting. I'm
trying to think if I heard. No, I don't think I did.
Okay. It's
I've only heard Texans. I don't listen to what losers have to say, John.
Well, you've been listening to the Texans the last few weeks.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah. But you cleaned it up? Did you clean it up or you have to? Oh, he's got to clean it up. Yeah, he dropped some ugly words. He dropped an F-bomb on the team. So while Dell is cleaning that up, the Texans cleaned it up. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they're going to be able to take care of the Ravens. The Ravens are bad defensively. They're bad. I mean, this is not the same Ravens team now. This is not.
No, they're legitimately terrible on defense right now. I mean, teams are gashing them and gashing their secondary. It's bad.
It's bad. And you know what? They can't stop anybody. They made the Chiefs look like an offense yesterday. And the Chiefs have been crap. The Chiefs have been bad offensively, and they made them look great yesterday.
Right.
Like, they're back. No, they just played the Ravens.
The Ravens are the get-well game?
Yeah. No, honestly. They have got the Texans got to take advantage of how bad they are. CJ's got to take advantage. CJ was interesting. He goes, on the play to Higgins, he said, well, I called that. I'm the OC. Now, he did take credit for it.
Yeah.
He said, I saw something that I liked and I called it and it worked and it was great. And he said, a little bit, it's not going to work all the time, whatever, but it worked that time. And he grabbed some of the credit, and that's just fine. If in fact, I thought this was how it was going to be anyway, that CJ could see something and CJ would be able to, who was it on the call? Beth Mowens. Who was the the color commentator? Offensive lineman. Anyway.
Oh, it's Ross Tucker.
Ross Tucker.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of Ross Tucker these days.
Yeah, and Beth Mowens, we get that. That just means
I don't understand what we're doing. So this is an interesting play here that the Texans are running. If you look at what they're doing with their tackles and their guards, this is a lot of stuff going on here for the Texans.
He mentioned, he said, I don't know if CJ's – because they had a running play that just went nowhere, and he went, I don't know if CJ's able to check out of these things, but he should have.
Yeah.
He certainly should have right here.
Yeah.
Checked out of that, but maybe he wasn't. I don't know.
I think he can. I think
he can too.
I think he can, and that's part of what CJ's still trying to learn. That I think CJ thinks he knows ball at an elite level, and he doesn't. Like most quarterbacks in the league, unless they've been around for a long time, they don't know ball at an elite level as it pertains to NFL fronts and defenses. They're all learning, and they get better and better and better. And CJ's still learning, but he should know enough to get out of certain plays if he has that ability. And this is supposed to be the offense that allows him to get out of stuff.
Well,
and allows him to take a bigger part in it.
Great offenses have plays that don't work.
Right.
Even great offense, you know.
Well, my dad was with Ben Roethlisberger, and Ben would check. Like Ben was notorious for not being able to check into. He just wasn't good at checking into the right things. He would check into, and there was some thought by some coaches he was checking into intentionally running plays that weren't going to work, so he could say, "See, we can't run the ball. We just need to throw it all the
So
time."
let's throw.
There were thoughts by not my dad, but there were thoughts, and this is after my dad was gone. One of the coaches said, "We're pretty sure he's checking into the wrong play on purpose." Either that or he has literally no knowledge of. So there are quarterbacks who just don't, see stuff. But CJ obviously made a good call. He checked into something that worked well because he saw it. And I think CJ does have some football intelligence for sure. So I think it'll benefit him. I still didn't have, one game's not going to answer, especially one half's not going to answer anything, but it was sure nice. And what about, we have not spent any time talking about Woody Marks. Yeah. Woody Marks, he had over 50 yards receiving, was solid on the ground, showed the wiggle, scored 2 touchdowns. He's putting together his Dameon Pierce rookie year right now. Dameon Pierce, also a 4th-round pick, who ended up having a really strong rookie year. We're just hoping this lasts longer than that 1 year run by Dameon Pierce, hoping for a lot more. But Woody Marks, John, looked like, I think the Texans figured this out. I was listening to some of Vandermeer. I had to take my daughter somewhere, so I was listening to Mark and Andre. And he said that, you could hear Andre talking about the fact that he said, one of the things they really needed to do was get Marks more involved today. He needed to get a bigger you get the feeling Andre had some intel already, and he knew what was going to happen this game, that this is going to be a Woody Marks game.
Listen, if you watched last week and if you've been watching this season, I don't know that it's, that you had to have any intel.
He knew what the Texans were going to do is what I'm saying. I think this is the Texans'
plan. He's looked the best out of all in pass pro, in running the ball. I mean, we talked about it last week. I want to see more Woody Marks. I've been wanting to see. I mean, because Nick doesn't have. Listen, Nick Chubb has had a great career. He doesn't have that same burst.
No,
he's not that same guy.
No, he'll get you some tough yards. He knows where. Woody will still make some mistakes in terms of where he goes with the football on some cuts, just some small things where Nick Chubb knows what he's doing with it. But you can't, there's just no way around elusiveness. There's no way around burst. You either have those things or you don't. And Nick Chubb is just on the downside of that, and Woody Marks has it.
He absolutely does. He absolutely does.
And he can really catch the ball. He is a good third down. Nick Chubb Nick Chubb's really good in pass pro too.
Well,
so it's nice to have 2 of them.
Wait a minute. There was an early sack that Nick Chubb was awful.
Right.
I think that opened the door for Woody.
Well, they were on top of CJ in a second.
Well, no, not that one. There was one early where Nick Chubb, there was a linebacker blitzing, and Nick kind of just went the wrong way, and he just went right around Nick Chubb and sacked CJ. The one by Jeffrey Simmons was just he was in the backfield before CJ was. Mm-hmm. This one was early on. It was a sack by, I forget which linebacker it was, but it was what a horrible, horrible block by Nick Chubb. And it opened the door for Woody Marks
I wonder if
to
that's
be on the field a lot more.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's one of the things that because I do think D'Amico's holding people accountable. I give you an example. Did you know Laken Tomlinson started at left guard and only played 20% of the snaps? Juice Scruggs played 80% of the snaps yesterday. Henry To'oTo'o played 40. He played 48% of the snaps, but EJ Speed played 52, and that's another guy that I've been waiting to see. EJ Speed's got to play more. Woody Marks has to play more, and they're finally doing it. These 2 guys are going to be – you got to get some guys with some juice out there, and both of those guys have more juice, and I don't think it's going to be a surprise that both of them – I think EJ Speed will play more moving forward. He's just a better playmaker. He has more athletic ability, and then Woody Marks has more athletic ability. You got to start getting these guys who are physical matches and mismatches out on the – or athletic I don't know about mismatches, but athletic matches to – what the other teams are doing. You have to. You can't have Nick Chubb's not athletically. He's a minus. Yeah. Henry To'oTo'o is kind of a minus as an athlete. He's smart and he does all that stuff. He's a He's a solid, very average starter. You need somebody who can be more disruptive, and that's what EJ Speed can do. So, I think it's a good sign that the Texans are headed in some different directions. And you know what? I like the fact that even though we gave him money, hey, if Laken Tomlinson's not playing well enough, he can sit on a bench. Good. Don't try to cover your own ass by playing a guy's not playing well. Let's get the best in there. Let's be true meritocracy. And that's what they're trying to do a little bit more of, I think. It feels like.
Yeah. Well, Juice was responsible for that Jeffrey
Well,
Simmons.
Juice isn't great. Juice should not be a starter in the NFL.
So it was,
that's going to be another position I have to look at again next year, John.
Another second-round guard.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the Texans have a history. Who was the?
They tried to draft one in the
UCLA?
first. They tried to draft Donovan Jackson in the first, and it didn't work out.
Who was the Hawaiian?
Xavier Su'a-Filo. He's not to be mentioned on the show anymore. You already know that.
Well, there's another second-rounder that just – and now Blake Fisher, another second-rounder that can't get on the field. Juice Scruggs, another –
Well, he got on the field.
Yeah, well, he gets on the field, but he's not good enough to start. But, man, in a couple of penalties by Titus, it didn't kill him. But in other games, those penalties that Titus had would be killers. The play I was referring to was when Barton sacked CJ, but Ladarius Sneed had an illegal contact down the field, and so it negated that sack that Nick Chubb just blew the block, just awful.